Oh, hey, how you doing, everybody? This is John, and welcome to John's Longbox. Phil said he'll be here in a couple of minutes, so I figured I'd start on time and use this time to talk about my campaigns. So first off, let's address the chat. Hey, Emily Kruger, don't you ever sleep? You seem to always be there. Yes, I got a bad haircut. I shaved my hair. As you may or may not know, I broke my neck. Currently waiting for the insurance company to pay the claims and everything like that. It's been 3 months. I'm broke. I don't have any gas in my car, and I shaved my own head because I'm broke. But then when it pays, it's going to be a lot. So there we go. I guess I'll take this time until Phil shows up. He said he's about 10 minutes behind. So here is my comic is in demand on Fund My Comic. So let's make this big. This is, I did pretty good. 6,215 backers on Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic is the new guy in town. I'm very happy with Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic is going to be my home moving forward. I kind of split my campaign up between Kickstarter, Fund My Comic, and Indiegogo. I think it was a tactical error. You live, you learn, So, but I just wanted to point out, you could still order. It's in demand. You could still get the Renzo Rodriguez cover. You could still get the Patrick Roger cover, and this is the only place to get the Pat Roger cover. This I wanted to be exclusive to Fund My Comic, is the back cover, and I brought the Michael T. Gilbert cover over to Fund My Comic. So if you thinking about that, and you're already backed, just message me and we'll figure it out. You know what I mean? You don't have to pay shipping twice, and you can still see this great artwork. You can still get this coin. You can still get the glass, and it's all there. It's all there. So that's the Fund My Comic. I want to also show the Indiegogo, because the Indiegogo is going on right now. And it's the same comic book. And geez, this comic book is close to 40 pages. 40 pages for $10, guys. What am I doing? I'm going broke is what I'm doing. And you could get the Renzo cover, because the Renzo cover is the standard cover. Renzo's my artist. He does all the work inside, so he's got the standard cover. Is the back cover, and then Mike Gustovich cover. Look at that cover. That is just glorious. I love that. That is so cool. There's him fighting the main villain. And as of right now, the only place to get this is on Indiegogo, And also on Indiegogo, you can pledge and get the coin and the pint glass. So that's all my campaigns right now. Renzo is hard at work on issue number 2. He just sent me another page today. I sent it to Oscar. There's 2 main superhero stories in issue number 2. There's the Patriarch, which is 22 pages, and there's Mary Sue, which is 15 pages. So right then and there, that's 15 and 22, 37 pages, and then there's going to be 3 pages ahead. So that's 40 pages. That looks like it's going to be my standard comic, 40 pages. If I hit a stretch goal, I want to add an 8-page unheroic tales with the industrialist who built Science City, his story. So that's the going for that, and that is only going to have 2 editions. It's going to have the Renzo edition. It's going to have the Patriarch cover. You flip it over, it's going to have the Mary Sue cover, and then the variant is going to have Josh Howard doing Mary Sue, and then you flip it over, it's going to be Jose Garcia doing the Patriarch. And I already have the Renzo cover for Mary Sue. I already have the Jose Garcia cover for the Patriarch. Josh is hard at work on the Mary Sue, and Renzo is finishing the Mary Sue story, and then he's doing the Patriarch story. He wanted to draw sexy girls. You don't want to argue with what the guy wants to draw. So right now it's 4:00 here in Phoenix. You're at Phoenix? Oh my God! How hot is it there now? My buddy Phil's in Phoenix. What was the restaurant that I really liked in Phoenix? I like the art designs for the Heroic Tales covers. Thank you. Yeah. I hired Nick X. He did the logos and the cover dress. Nick X also did the he's doing all my logos, and he did he designed the campaign page. He's, you know, I jokingly call him my turd polisher. I give him some crap and he makes it look amazing. He's so talented. We got Yang Zhao in the chat. We're still waiting for Phil Diaz to show up. He notified me, said he was going to be 10 minutes late, but I didn't want to really start 10 minutes late because at 8:30 I have comic book team up with World at War Comics and Renzo. That's also on John's Longbox. So you know, I just figured I'd talk and take a couple of minutes to talk about my comic. It's that time where it's starting to be a bit cooler, but it's still between 90s and 80s. Yeah. Well, last time I was in Phoenix, it was so freaking hot, but that was like 90, 93. It was so hot, you know. You had to open up the car doors and let the car air out because you couldn't touch the steering wheels. It was a burn. We went down. Was it the Snake River or the Salt River? I forget. On the inner tubes. That was a lot of fun. Woohoo! Double feature. Yep. And did you mean to post the? Did I post the StreamYard link? Oh well, I didn't mean to. I meant to post the Indiegogo link. But you already got it, so that's cool. I didn't mean to post the StreamYard link. This is Phil Diaz's show. Salt River. Salt River. That's a lot of fun. What else did I do in Phoenix? I just remember it was just so hot. I went to Phoenix. I think I've been in Phoenix 3 times because I used to live in Albuquerque. And then my car broke down in Yuma, Arizona, which gave me the. I just got. Of course, I get a phone call while I'm doing this. I got my car broke down in Yuma, Arizona, and my friend Bob's car broke down in Yuma, Arizona at a Dairy Queen, and while we were waiting, me and him had to like repair it. Oh my God, we were like underneath the car. The tarmac started to melt around the tires. Oh my God. And that's why I came up with the idea of like, if we could build a city out of it, because it was just nowhere. It was nothing, you know, just beautiful God's country. And I'm like, if we could build a city, and this is 93 when I was thinking of this idea, you know, young, idealistic, right in college, of all making solar farms and everything like that. I was like, you could power a whole city. And that's why I came up with like this solar powered city, which is now Science City, which is the location in my comic book, all from my trip to Arizona. Well, actually, it was my trip from Albuquerque to San Diego through Arizona. And at that, I will bring in Mr. Phil Diaz. How you doing, Phil?
Yo, what's up? How's it going, John?
Pretty good. I'm just adjusting the chat. You said you were going to be a little bit late, so I was just showing my campaigns and you know, just talking to people. You know, I have no problems talking. Kirby's throwing what's that, a cookie? Oh, no, I thought that was the Cookie Monster in there.
What's up, Kirby?
Yeah, how you doing? Marcus is goofing on me because instead of putting a link to my Indiegogo campaign, I put a link to the StreamYard to join in here. So at least I have control if people click on it.
Oh, no. Now they're all going to show up.
Everybody, because Phil Diaz is here. He's so dreamy. Look at those sideburns. He's like Wolverine. So how you doing, Phil?
Good. Just got off work, so raced over here to jump on. But
I would have started later, you know, if I knew this was going to be a problem.
It's all good.
You know, I'm doing nothing. I spent my entire day today playing a solo board game. Are you a board gamer?
Not really. I mean, I've dabbled. I used to, and I think we've talked about this before, but I used to play a bunch of Sentinels of the Multiverse.
Oh, yes, we talked about that. Yeah. Well,
yeah. And I used to have like after work on Friday nights, guys at my job would hang out and play that. But yeah, that was super fun. But anything besides that, no, not really.
Okay, yeah, I have Sentinels. I have a big black box, like the Ultimate Edition. I still have
you got it.
I don't know what we're talking about. It's a superhero card game.
Yes,
it's the original superhero. You know, I play a superhero role-playing game. We're not talking about a role-playing game. We're talking about a board and card game. But they didn't have enough money to license out Marvel or DC or any, so they made their own superheroes. And a lot of people liked it. I bought it. I've never played it. because
It's super cool. Yeah, they have crazy characters. They're surrogates for the heroes we know and stuff. And each character gets their own deck, and it's cooperative. So the villain that you're fighting plays itself, like
right.
it's the villain deck, and then you and your buddies are trying to take out the villain. Super cool and really fun. And they did a bunch of expansions with a ton of different characters. There's even like a game on Steam, like a really primitive version of it that you could play digitally. It's the same thing. But yeah, I had a ton of fun playing that back in the day.
Yeah, I gotta play it. I there's a Village of Vigilantes card game that I just finally bought. It came and went really quick. I haven't played it yet. It's just really low quality. Like the cards feel like they're gonna wear out instantly.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a miniature superhero game called Guardians, and it's kind of cool. It's one person plays the bad guy, and then everybody else plays all the superheroes, and you get 10 cards.
That's pretty cool.
And
yeah.
Sooner or later, one of your cards is your weakness, and when you play that, your weakness kicks in.
Oh, that's pretty fun.
It does, but that allows you to pick up all your cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can play your weakness quick if you want to get your super good card back. It's a good mechanism. But anyway, why we're talking about this. For those of you who don't know, last time I was on Phil's channel, and when your brother had to leave, he shut the stream down. So we only talked like 10 minutes. So I think we only got to talk about Sentinels of the Multiverse, and then it was all over.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. He's a
That's
doofus for jumping in there and then ending everything.
Yeah. Why do I think you're not in Phoenix, Arizona? Are you?
No, I'm in Chicago.
Oh, Chicago, not even close. I don't know why I thought you were in Phoenix, Arizona. But anyway, because Emily in the chat is in Phoenix. Okay, so you're in Chicago. Okay, so now I got to ask, what's you get the Chicago dog out there?
I don't. No. It's the Chicago dog. It's like everything except for ketchup, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't get that. But
yeah, I went to GaryCon a couple years ago. About 10 years ago by now. I went to GaryCon 5, whatever year that was, and that's in Wisconsin. And they were like, "You got to get a Chicago dog." I'm like, "But I'm not near Chicago." But apparently, the sphere of influence of the Chicago. So they had a shuttle from the airport to the hotel. And it was part of the hotel. The guy picked me up, stopped, and me and him had lunch and had Chicago dogs, and then came. But I never heard of it before. But he was just like, the thing that makes it is the celery salt. He's like, it's not a Chicago salt without the celery salt.
Yeah.
That's one of my things. I like to see what regional foods people have.
Yeah, there's a bunch of Chicago food.
Chicago pizza. I love Chicago pizza.
Yeah, native stuff that it's a lot of it is just touristy, like people from out of town, when they come here, they get it, but the locals don't even really deal with it a lot of the times.
Yeah, like you come to New York, nobody's been to the statue. Nobody who lives here has been to the Statue of Liberty or up the Empire State Building. Yeah. When I moved across the country, I moved to Albuquerque in 1993. I was like, I'm gonna go do all the touristy stuff in New York because everybody's gonna ask me. So I did all that stuff. And I actually got a job as the manager of the Empire State Building, like the tourist part. So, but then the next day I got hired as an electrician. I put in a whole bunch of resumes and everything. I took the test to become an electrician, but I didn't hear from them. So I took this job, bought the suit, said, okay, I'm hired. All right. Then the next day, you're hired as an electrician. So I had to call back. I'm taking this job. They were like, you didn't even report to work and you quit. So anyway, I went up to
you have the backup plan, right?
Yeah. You always got to have a backup. I don't know why I talk about this. But anyway, you got a comic over here, huh?
Yes, I got a new comic, and we've been, I think it's the third week we're on now, and it's a special crossover. We're dipping into some spooky horror territory in perfect time for Halloween. And if you guys have not checked out my previous works, everything is available on the campaign as well. So
I don't have the link to it because I can't click to it in the chat. So put the link in the private chat, then I can click on it and bring up your campaign. Unless you want to bring it up in control.
I gotcha. I'll put it in the private chat here.
What do you do? You the writer, artist? What do you do?
Yes, I'm the writer and letterer and a project manager, I guess. You know, you're also a writer, so you know that you have to like manage a bunch of stuff, do the campaign, all that. I set up my print files myself as well. Set that out to the printers. So
see that I'm talking with somebody because I didn't even know that was a step until about a month ago, and I'm computer illiterate, so
doing indie
to three people and three people like, oh man, if you only messaged me a month ago, I'm so busy right now. I'll do it in 2 months, but I don't want to wait 2 months. I need it done now.
Yeah, the being a indie comic writer, you do a lot of stuff that, you know, if you were a writer for the corporate mainstream, you wouldn't have to deal with, right? Marketing, print file stuff, talking to printers, you know, testing out what's the best paper and all this stuff. And then in some cases, I do all my lettering work. I put together the trailer for this campaign as well, and the campaign page. So there's a lot. What's up, Woodrow? Yeah, Woodrow knows.
Yeah, it is a lot. Like I remember when I first started seeing art pages, and I was like, oh man, that's, you know, like it pretty much for the first issue, Renzo and I were almost telepathic. Like the things that I had to change were so minor. And in one case, I thought it was a big deal. And I'm like, oh man, now, like, is he going to get mad if I ask him to change? So, and I'm like, I'm going to forget about it, but I can't forget about it. It's bothering me. But I don't want Renzo to work another whole day. You know, like, so finally he was like, okay, yeah, it's a computer layers. You know what I mean? He said he was done in like 13 seconds. Cause I don't know. I think that everybody's drawing. I don't know how.
No, especially, I mean, that's kind of like a really cool thing working with digital artists and with stuff like edits like that. You're definitely much quicker than if you're working with the traditional artists.
Right. I thought, because, you know, if he had to change, because he did what I asked him to do, but then when I saw it, it didn't look like what I wanted. And I realized it was a miscommunication. So I was like, I have to pay him again. And I'm like, because he's going to spend all day redrawing the whole page.
Yeah.
No, it's just a little beep, beep. He's like, don't worry about it. It's done.
Yeah, so, it's all a learning experience.
And then for the Mary Sue story, you know, when you're describing a monster, and then he draws them, there's a lot of difference. You could say a strong human being, but when you talk about so I didn't like the monster, you know, and he was like, okay, beep, 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 beep. He just deleted the monster, redrew it. I was like, I keep forgetting digital artwork. It makes everything.
Yeah, I don't think though when they draw, I don't think it makes beeping noises though. Well, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe it does. I don't know. You don't know Renzo. You don't.
Right. I don't know what he's working on.
But the point being is, I didn't realize it, but I'm also an art director now. You know what I mean? Sure. Like part of me wishes I worked for like Marvel or DC or something like that, because then I could I'm done with the script, send, and then okay, what am I doing tomorrow? Okay, I'm gonna work on another script. You know, sure. I could do a year's worth of comics. You know, no sweat. But you know, now it's taking me a year to do one comic because it's the bills of the gods. It's just very slow.
Definitely. No, yeah. I would imagine it's totally different beast. And you see from a lot of people that have worked in the mainstream and then jumping over to do a crowdfunded comic, indie style, it's kind of overwhelming because there's a lot more that you as the project manager and art director and stuff, like you get more hats than just someone that's writing scripts and passing it off to an editor that's then sending it to an artist, you know.
I tell you this, if I knew now all the troubles and all the steps and everything, I really do wonder if I would have embarked on making a comic book.
Yeah.
Because when I was like, this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna write, you know, and you know, this is the point now. I'm like, now the fun part is over. And believe me, it was fun writing the script. It was fun getting the art. It was fun getting the art colored. It's fun getting the art lettered. But now, you know, pre-press, talking to the printer. Now, do I want this guy to fulfill it? Am I going to get it? Now it's like, the nervous part is happening, because this is the part you could mess up.
Yeah,
it's one page is upside down. You know what I mean? I'm getting real nervous now, like to the point where I'm waking up in the middle of the night. I'm still on schedule. People aren't mad at me yet. You know, like, you know, I didn't send the wrong comic to the wrong guy, and you know, 18 people moved and now they're mad at me and they're going to give me like a bad recommendation on Yelp or something. You know what I mean? You just can't help but get nervous. I'm drawing a cover for campaign. Oh, nice, Marcus. Good job, Mark. Good job. And let me say hello to a couple of people popped up in the chat. Moromi, how you doing? Woodrow. And J-Bot. J-Bot knows what I'm talking about. He's doing his own comic, The Mighty Berserker.
J-Bot's awesome.
Berserker. I said, Logic Finest, how you doing? Brian's got 6 Gun Gorilla, so he knows what I'm talking about. Marcus said he's drawing. Brian says it is fun, but it's a lot of work, and it's nerve-wracking. It's getting, it's crunch time, and I'm getting nervous. Now you're talking like a pro. Ask questions. Yes, I do this to everybody. Marcus knows because he's been on my channel probably more than anybody, But I ask questions to everybody. Sometimes people don't realize, but I'm probing them for information. And now it's fun because I forget his name, Ernest. He's going to come on Friday. I got to make a stream later. He's going to come on at 3:00 on Friday. He has his own comic, and this guy's super talented, and he makes them all and he sells them all, but like he sells them to people that he knows. He never knew that crowdfunding. He's coming to me like I'm the expert,
Yeah.
So it's time to share what little bit I know. And
I mean, we've been my brother and I have been crowdfunding for the last 5 years. I think this is our 7th campaign. Wow. I want to say, So we started doing comics back before we ever crowdfunded. Say our first comic was like 2010, and we took it to like Wizard World Chicago, and it was. I mean, we look back at it now, we're like, man, this is really crappy. We didn't know any artists. My brother wasn't drawing at the time, but he was into like computer graphic design. And so what we did is we took pictures of ourselves and our friends in front of a green screen, and we put ourselves in a comic. And my brother would Photoshop it to make it look like a comic. Put like poster edging on and like all the thick line work that you would make it seem like it's a comic book. And that's actually where we came up with our first character, who now is kind of a mainstay of our series. His name is the Silhouette, and he's this vigilante you could see here in the background here. And this was
another name I got to cross off my list. I have a character. The Silhouette. Every time I talk to somebody, there's another character.
I'm sorry, but yeah, here's the Silhouette. He's this ghostly avenger who doesn't know his past, and he's definitely more of like a supernatural version of like the Punisher, right? Cool. So he could meld into shadows and stuff like that. So he was our most popular character from our first Lost Pages book, and then we put him in the second one's all about him. So, but that was our first character. Like I said, like right after I got out of high school, we started doing those back in the day.
I'm going to bring up your campaign right now.
Cool.
So why isn't it okay? This is Psycho Slumber. Can I play the trailer?
Please, yeah, that would be awesome.
The reason why I ask is like nudity or copyrighted music.
No, this is all us. Okay.
In the dead of night, on the outskirts of Chicago, the line between reality and imagination blurs. And in the moment before you doze off, Simon wakes up to play. He'll seep into your sleep and turn your wildest dreams into your final nightmare. From the worlds of the Kill Journal and the Lost Pages comes this year's most horrifying comic crossover, Psycho Slumber. When the undead is in your head, it will take more than heroes to put it back to rest. You will need survivors. In Simon's world, the rules are his own, and the only way out is to play his game. This winter, Simon says, "You're next."
Cool.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to put together. John Diller did the voiceover on that one. I did all the video editing and audio and stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He's got a good voice. Like he should be doing like legit voice acting.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a great guy, awesome artist as well. But yeah, so this is that book I showed you, The Lost Pages. That's kind of like our main title. So this is a crossover. It's taking some of the Lost Pages characters and putting it in this horror universe from another book called The Kill Journal, where the villains are these undead slashers that have gone through crazy trauma and then become these monsters, you know, kind of in the same vein as like Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees. But instead of them rampaging and killing everybody, there's these survivors that know about these slashers and these humans that have lost someone close to them because of these undead monsters. They're going around and hunting the slashers. So it's those two worlds colliding in a 60-page epic. It's full-on slasher jump scare kind of horror mixed with superhero stuff.
Cool.
Pretty super fun to write as well.
And both of these are your properties.
No, the Lost Pages is, which these characters here, these are mine. This is Jasmine and her imaginary friend Krim, the purple badass monster, who she's lived with throughout all of her life. You know, in the Lost Pages, you learn that as she grew up, she forgot about him and he got trapped in her head, fighting all of her inner demons, becoming this badass hulking brute. And then
that's clever.
Thanks, man. Yeah, she starts seeing him again, and when he's around, you know, they reconnect, and she gets super strength when he's around, so they become superheroes in the city, kind of vigilantes. And here they have to help the Survivors Club from the Kill Journal, which is my buddy Adam Lawson's IP. He put that book out a while ago, and they are contacted because this new slasher, this new revenant, hunts you in your dreams. So it's perfect for Krim and Jazz because Krim lives on the border of that dream world, that imaginary world. So they could directly interact with Simon, who is killing people in their nightmares.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You know, my oldest brother, as much as I'm into comic books,
yeah,
he's into horror movies. So
sure,
you know, and you know, he's what, 5 years older than me. So he was always taking me to horror movies. So again, I don't want to say against my will because you always want to hang out with your older brother, but
yes,
we saw every horror movie. Like, so this is like the guy in your dreams remind me of Freddy and
yeah.
What's up? You know, I have a big love for horror movies too.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's his design. Cool. Yeah. That was his original design, you know, kind of like a little bit of Pinhead in there, some Freddy, some Leatherface. I really dig the movie Dreamscape, which is another cool one that you know, delved into sleep and nightmares and dreams. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun coming up with him. And a lot of this story too is kind of like a psychological thriller where it delves into who Simon is. Like the revelation is, how do these slashers become who they are, you know? And in that, and finding out that's kind of like you find out how to stop them. So it's all about this kind of odd couple team up between my heroes and these survivors that know all about this world, and finding out who Simon is and how to stop him.
Cool. That's a great shirt.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, we really wanted to do like an 80s kind of slasher film shirt with that.
So I'm just looking at all your tiers. Shirt, $50. Oh, this is, I can't even see anymore. 60-page comic. Oh, 60-page comic, $25. That's a good deal. Digital book. LP.
Yeah, so that's all of the Lost Pages stories. So
I thought it was a record. I was like, geez, no. I was like, is there nothing you can't do?
Not yet. We have done some music in the past for other campaigns, but I know Eric Weathers did an LP for his Battle Rick Road book, which is pretty badass. So yeah, so if you guys are not familiar with any of these characters, you could read this straight through and you'll get all the information that you need to enjoy the story. It's a full story, 60 pages. But if you want to check out and learn more about these worlds, you can get the catch-up tier. We'll give you each book that I think it's 3 books. All of them are over 100 pages each, between the Kill Journal and then the 2 Lost Pages books. And so you'll be perfectly caught up to know everything about this universe.
Yeah, I got to get the catch-up tier. I'm sorry, but I didn't back it. You know,
no problem.
A little embarrassed when I there's so much going on that even somebody like me who's all into this stuff, there's stuff that I miss.
No, that's why I love crowdfunding, because like at this point now, we've put out a bunch of books, and you know, the Lost Pages world has a bunch of different characters in it. And now that there's more people learning about us and we're getting out there and trying to get in front of a bigger audience, there's a bunch of content for readers to chew on, and even like if you guys wanted to read this stuff right away, we have on our respective sites, these books are ready to ship out. So the first three Lost Pages books, I know Adam has the Kill Journal on his website as well.
You did a voiceover?
I did. He's the only one that's heard it because
that's right. He's busting chops.
Yeah, that's right.
I got Lost Pages, then Lost Pages Silhouette. I think I missed one, but I got Psycho Slumber. So if I do this digital, killer catch-up tier, this is everything Woodrow's talking about?
Yes. Yeah. So the digital catch-up tier has all my Lost Pages stuff in it, up to book 3, which is the newest one we just shipped a couple months ago. And as well as this new book.
Cool. I think that's so important as a catch-up tier. Comic book people are so prickly. I don't want to jump in issue 3. You gotta. Is there a up tier? What is that? Is that a joke that I don't get?
No, we actually used to. We have our first crowdfunded property we did was a book called Magic Koepp, and it's 1980s Miami Vice mixed with Halloween Town. It's another perfect Halloween book. But we did for the Magic Koepp 2 campaign, we did a Magic Cup, which was
I got you.
A plastic 12 ounce.
I got a cup. I got a cup.
We have like the 7-Eleven cup with Magic Koepp art on it.
I got a nice beer.
Referencing.
This is a high quality regular beer glass, pint glass. Because patriarch's a father. What father doesn't like to come home and have a beer? What about a Psycho tumbler? There you go. There you go.
Where were you, some person? That's a great idea.
Some person, where were you?
The Psycho tumbler. But if you guys do get the catch-up tier on this campaign, we have this, which we just put out for our previous campaign. It's all of the Lost Pages stories up until the 3rd one in a smaller version. So here's the Lost Pages 3, and this is the tome, is what we call it. It's 212 pages, everything up until the 3rd book, and it's in grayscale. So we kind of did it like a more modern manga style book. Wow. So all the stories are in here. If you guys want them in color, you could get those off our website right now, and we'll ship them out like tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, it looks good. You're doing 60 pages for was it $25?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. It'll be we'll have like concept art in there too and stuff. So it's 60-page story.
Everything that I added, it's 40 pages for $10.
Oh yeah, that's freaking awesome. Yeah.
I was off Planet Phil. That won't happen again. And Tackler Art says, "Great, Phil."
Thank you. Yeah, it's super fun.
So you did 7 campaigns. Do you fulfill them and mail them all yourself?
Yes, we did all the fulfillment ourselves on those, and we even fulfilled Cash Grab. You ever heard of this book for Cecil?
Yeah.
You know this guy Cecil? Yeah, we fulfilled Cash Grab for Cecil last year as well, which is awesome. And shout outs to Cecil for that. And we've been fulfilling for 5 years now.
Wow.
Got these books out.
Wow. And who did you say your brother didn't draw at one time, but now he does he is drawing?
Yeah, so he draws our Magic Cop series, and we're actually I'm getting ready to script that out for the third book, because Magic Cop 3 we got to get to doing that one as well.
Oh, cool. Again, everything comes back to either comics or board games with me, but I'm looking at it right over there. There's a board game called Final Girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would like. The premise is there's always that last girl left in a horror movie,
Yeah.
Fights Freddy or fights Jason or whatever. So that's the final girl. So that's what you are. So it's a solo only game, and it's horror movies that so. And it's funny because the box looks like a big VCR, and when you open it up, there's like the VCR part of it. You open it up and it's the board, and then the cartridges, you open them up and it's little scenarios. So one of them turns it into Camp Crystal Lake, but they call it Camp Happy Trails, and you're fighting with Jason. It's Otis, and then there's another one instead of fighting Freddy. I forget who you're fighting, but they got legally distinct names, but it's
for sure
fighting all of the horror guys. So you're fighting Freddy and Jason and a werewolf in one of them, and then the next season it's Universal Monsters. But I did a couple of videos on my channel.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, the Kill Journal is like that premise. It's really cool in that way. So you have these kind of like the iconography of those horror slasher characters in the comic, and that the Kill Journal is super gory, and it's like very very over the top. So if that's your thing, you're gonna love it. The Psycho Slumber is a little less, but we still go there. There's gonna be limbs flying off in here, and definitely people are gonna die, and the stakes are gonna be high in this one. So I was super excited to get to write this and put the project together.
Cool. So would you consider yourself more a comic book, like a traditional comic book fan, or are you more of a horror fan? Definitely
more a comic guy, for sure.
Oh, okay. The way you were talking about all this horror and everything like that, I thought you'd be like, nah, horror. So what comics any new comics that you look forward to?
I'm a big Jeff Johns fan, so I've been liking the Geiger stuff that he's been putting out as well. But I'd say some of my top stuff that have come out in the last 10 years, Hillbilly by Eric Powell.
I love Eric Powell. Anything by Eric Powell. I love the Goon. Hillbilly is awesome.
Yeah.
And did you get that did you hear what Ed Gein Dunn did?
No.
If you noticed, he stopped making Goon for like 2 years.
Okay.
And he made a hardcover graphic novel. Somebody else wrote it, but it's the true story of Ed Gein. It's a comic book biography of Ed Gein. And for those of you who don't know who he is, he's the inspiration for Psycho and for
sure,
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, Leatherface.
And it does the impossible. It actually makes you feel a little bit bad for Ed Gein when you see what his mom put him through as a kid. Oh my God. He actually I know he killed people, but geez, his mom was mean to him. But great talent. I love Eric Powell. So now the Goon is coming back on a regular schedule. I can't recommend that comic enough. I love the Goon.
Yeah.
Hillbilly was amazing too. You're the only other person besides me to talk about Hillbilly.
I know. KSSS, who's an awesome member in the chats, he's another Hillbilly guy. I love the Hillbilly. It's super fun. It's that idea and genre of like the wandering hero. He takes it to an awesome level. And another thing about that, it's like Monster of the Week type thing. So like every issue is this new town he comes to and this new supernatural witch or whatever that he has to stop. Yo, what's up, dear man? Yeah. Geiger was cool. I have the first trade.
Did you read Junkyard Joe?
No, the character didn't really appeal to me. I have some of the issues, but I've never really dove into them.
There was that one shot with, I think it's the first Junkyard Joe. I think it's one of the best comics that I read in years. Yeah. It pushed all my buttons. I don't want to give it away, but Junkyard Joe is, first off, I almost said Ed Gein. Jeff Johns went to DC and said, I want to use the GI robot. And they said, no.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If Jeff Johns comes to you and says, I want to use your character, you say yes. So he made Junkyard Joe. Now he owns it. Now it's his character. And he told the story of basically a robot and with PSTD. It is, you don't think it would work, but I actually got like emotional and choked up over it. Oh, good. But I'm liking Geiger. Rook is the one that it's a little weird for me. It's almost like two really good premises that get smashed.
I know, and I love
diminishes them.
Jay Fabok so much. Like him and Jeff Johns on Justice League was some of my favorite team stuff. So epic. Like that is when they did Darkseid War, Justice League Darkseid War. That is the stuff I look to that inspires me down the line for when we do the Lost Pages. Because if you're unfamiliar, Lost Pages is a group of characters that are very disjointed. They don't know each other yet. And everything is being told by this mysterious hobo. He's a homeless man that has this magical book that seemingly all of time is written in the book. So he's trying to gather my heroes together. And so when we get to book 6, that's when they all come together. And Jeff Johns and Fabok on Darkseid War, that's what I look to. Like, this is how you puzzle piece all kinds of characters together and not make it disjointed. Like, you know, everything is very concise. So that stuff is super inspirational. So and Rook, it's, the designs are really cool, but yeah, there's something kind of off about it and kind of weird.
I really like I said this before, but I really like the idea of these corporations are geoforming a planet and then they run out of money. So they got to evacuate the planet because the planet is returning back to its uninhabitable. So that is a great premise right there. And then there's these wardens who wear these masks that they can control all. That's a whole nother premise. It almost seems like they should have been separated and they would have been great stories, but then they put them together and it's I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's funny. I just started giggling when you said homeless and then hobo, and you made me realize like if you called somebody a hobo, you're almost giving them like bestowing them with nobility, but you call them homeless and it's like, get off my porch, get out of
right. Yeah. That's
in my restaurant.
That's what the character's called, the hobo, and that's what he goes by. So
like a hobo, you're like, okay, I'll give the hobo a tuna fish sandwich, but the homeless guy, you ain't getting a tuna fish sandwich. So what makes you a hobo as opposed to homeless?
I think hobos have that like sage-like wisdom.
There you go. There you go.
So here's this is the hobo here. We did a preview of Psycho Slumber. We printed only 50 of them and sold them on our website. We got this crazy foil cover here.
That's cool looking.
So and this one's in black and white. The full book will be full color, but here's the hobo, and this is how the story starts. Walks up on a church and he finds one of the Kill Journal characters who's a priest. His name's St. George. And the cool thing about these two stories colliding is both of these kind of like father figure type characters, the hobo, the priest, they both have a book that they carry around. So the hobo has the Lost Pages, it's his magical book, and the priest has the Kill Journal, which he writes down all of these like dossiers of these killer slashers in. And the hobo here basically is like, I've been reading your stories, and the priest is like, they're not stories, they're real. You know, I've actually been through these. I've, you know, had to take out these monsters. He's like, well, there's one story that isn't finished, and I have 2 people that I think could help with them, and that's where Crimstone comes into play, Jazz and the imaginary friend Crim, and that's how it kicks off. So it's pretty fun.
That's cool. Good art too. Who's drawing that?
We have artist Juan Gideon, who's awesome guy. He's kind of an industry guy now. He's worked on some Venom for Marvel, and he did Jurassic League, which is like the Justice League dinosaur book.
Yeah, I remember that. Years ago. That was like a 5th week event a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're turning it into like an animated movie or something now.
Why not? Superheroes and dinosaurs literally in the same characters. That's you know, it's funny because my comic, every issue is going to have the patriarch, and then it's going to have like a support superhero story. So up to issue 3 is already planned. So I give Renzo a choice for issue 4. So what do you want to draw? You got this, or you got this. This one has dinosaurs. He's like, before I even finish, he's like, dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
So issue 4 is gonna have dinosaurs because everybody loves dinosaurs. I don't care how old you are.
Yeah.
Yep. Hell, chat. Hey, student OG, I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? How's everybody?
Oh, what's up, student? Yeah, here's another. This was the previous book we did. So this is the Lost Pages 3.
Laurie, I gotta make this big. Your stuff looks so good.
Thanks,
so
man.
Good.
Yeah, this covers by
that devil guy with the crown in the back.
Yeah, so this was super fun. So Lost Pages 3 revolved around Crimstone, Jazz and Crim. So this big guy in the back, his name's King Loath, and he rules over her mind. She gets drugged and she can't see Crim anymore. So he falls back into her head, and King Loath has taken over her mind, and
that's
is
a
like
great look for that guy.
All of her
I love the fiery goatee. That is awesome.
Yeah, check that out.
That is cool.
So this is available on the campaign, or you can get it on our site, and we'll ship it right out to you. And this explains
that's part of that catch-up tier, because that's what I have to get the catch-up tier, because that's the way I am. I gotta get everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy awesome. So this is like, I think this is over 100 pages, I think. But
that's awesome looking. $9 a beast. Yeah, this is really cool.
Awesome.
And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but you wrote all of this.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yes, this was the variant cover that Simon Bisley did.
I was going to say, that's Simon Bisley. Oh my god.
Yeah, he's did an awesome job with this. So he did actually the cover to our first Lost Pages book, which I don't think I have it around here. And then he came back for number 3 on the variant. So this one is not available on the campaign. It's only available on our site, the variant cover.
Wow, you got Simon. That is so cool.
The biz.
Back then says dinosaurs are pretty girls. Well, Renzo picked the story because it has both. It has dinosaurs and pretty girls. Renzo draws beautiful women, so you got to play up to people's strengths, right? That is, yes. I it just looks like a wonderful chaos, your covers.
Thank you. Yeah, this was the first one we did, and Bisley did this cover. So you got all the characters: Crimstone, the Silhouette, the Masquerade, who's like our 1930s kind of pulp shadow type figure, and then Wildcard, who's our sorcerer from Merlin times.
You're killing me. You're taking away all my character names.
Sorry. Yeah, I love character design. Like, characters are so important.
Oh yeah,
to media, comic books, character design. That's how I fell in love with comics. How eclectic the X-Men are from each other, and how they have crazy over the top names that give you clues on their abilities and their designs. So I really take that stuff seriously when I'm coming up with characters and writing these stories. So I hope that comes across from the designs of the characters and the names. That's the reason I do this stuff, is I think characters are most important in these stories.
I've been having a real difficult time. In issue 3 of Heroic Tales, I want to introduce like my street level vigilante. He's like a Punisher, Batman kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
I already changed his name twice.
Yeah.
And now, after Renzo already did this, we made a promo poster. So it's all paid for. It's all done.
Yeah.
And now I might have to change the design because something else just came out. It's big deal, and it looks a lot like my character. So,
oh, really?
So I'm just getting bad. I was gonna
that's rough.
Where I saved the picture, but and I'm like, part of me is just like, you know what? Enough's enough. I can't keep changing.
Yeah, it's hard to make some unique stuff, that looks original, especially in today's day and age with indie comics. Everything, all kinds of stuff is coming out, and it's hard to do that. But
yeah, your character Masquerade. It's funny because I thought of I had a character named Masquerade in one of my comics. Going to come up, but it's a female, and it's not a 30s Avenger, but it's different. But it's such a great name. And now that I saw your design, I'm like, oh man, I'm mad because your design is better.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's actually been a fan favorite character. He's a master of disguise. He's super theatrical. So by day he is a theater actor, and by night he's this avenger of justice who speaks to the bad guys in like Shakespearean talks. He's very over the top. Speaks in iambic pentameter.
Oh, that is cool. That's definitely better than what I got.
He's super fun. He's one of my favorite characters to write. And so now that we just did book 3. It's all about Crimstone. They're in this new book, Psycho Slumber. Then book 4, we're delving into the sorcerer in like Camelot times, Wildcard, and how he ties into everything.
Oh, cool.
And then book 5 will be all about the Masquerade, going back to the 30s and seeing, him fight a new mastermind and then coming to present day and how he ties into everything.
Oh, this sounds awesome. This sounds really cool. So you have like a full superhero world.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for the Lost Pages for sure.
So this, because when I heard the title Lost Pages for a long time, and I just assumed it was like either a magic comic or a horror comic. I never would have guessed in a million years that it was a superhero comic. So I'm all excited. Yeah, superheroes are my favorite thing. I do like horror, I like fantasy.
Yeah,
I like sorcerer, sword and sorcery stuff. But superheroes are still my favorites. I got to check it out.
Yeah, we kind of made it so to try to appeal to a broad audience. It's kind of like each character is something I love about superhero comics. If you like the Punisher, then you'll dig the Silhouette. We have a character called the People who is let me see if I have any issues for the People.
The People, that is a great name. Oh my God.
Yeah, the People, he has a short story in the tome, but we've been doing ash cans with him. So here's the People. He's kind of more like my Daredevil type character. He doesn't have any powers or anything, but he's got this badass baseball bat. He is a courtroom sketch artist by day and a vigilante by night. So when people pay their way out of jail, out of the courtroom, he goes and serves the justice, kicks their ass. Yeah. So he's more of the grounded street level character.
This guy over here, I'm not saying his name because every time I say his name, I find out another comic. But this is my street level vigilante.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
and he's inspired by a taxi driver. Travis Bickle.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
so that's why he has the crest on his head, and he's ultra violent. And he's an undercover cop, and he's arrested people.
Yeah,
and then the next, he tips off the police force. The people get arrested, and he's undercover talking to the with the mafia. And then just like, I got arrested yesterday. My lawyers got me off out there. What a pain in the ass that was. It was, wasted a day. And he's just like, all that work and wasted a day. So he kind of loses it. He gets a phone call from his wife. She wants a divorce, and he loses it. So now he puts on this costume and beats the crap out of all. He knows they're not going to jail. So and then the Horseman comes out, and he's got a crest, and he's an ultra violent vigilante. And I'm like, do I have to change this again? But again, I'm not telling his name, because every time I announce this character's name, like 2 days later, a comic book is,
something else. Yeah, I hear you.
So I don't know. I think I'm keeping it. I think I'm keeping it.
Cool. No, it looks awesome.
So I showed this before on another stream. So I do have proof that I came up with this look before I saw anything about the Horseman, but I'm not changing it anymore. And we got Torchbearer Studios. How you doing? How's everything? He sent me some fan art also. And he's got a comic coming out called Thug. It looks awesome. Sweet. I guess he had one bad day. Well, yeah. So he's going to be the Batman to the Patriarch's Superman. And both of them.
I'll show you a better.
I like low-powered heroes over super-powered heroes.
Check this out. This is a little look at the People. We put them out as in ash cans. This is a three-parter.
Oh man, sometimes I get so jealous when I hear the People. That is just a great name.
Yeah, so like here's some awesome pages from Dan Dahl again did some amazing work on this. Swinging through the city. So that 1 and 2 are available on the site. This is number 1. Let's see, number 2 here. Here's
Is this part of the catch-up tier?
No, this is The People doesn't appear in Psycho Slumber.
Okay.
So this is kind of like a side story within itself.
Okay.
Say like kind of like a mini series. So we've been putting them out in black and white, ash can size for the last couple Lost Pages campaigns, but you can get them. We still have some available on our site to ship out. And if you like gritty hero stuff, like Dan is so am I, a huge Frank Miller fan.
Yeah.
He does a great layout. This is our villain that pops up in issue 2. His name's Dr. Octane. He's like a pyro.
That's another great name. Oh man, you've got great names.
Thanks, man. And this is part of a double page spread. He actually interacts with the Silhouette in this one. So this one, the subtitle is The People versus Silhouette. So
awesome. The People, it's so obvious now that you said it, but yeah, it's so good.
And we get a little bit into his backstory, and he's, like kind of like the Daredevil, where he's fighting for justice. He's a vigilante, but he doesn't kill. And the Silhouette is a force of justice. He's a force of nature, basically. He, doesn't have bones or blood, but he is like the judge of the city, and the Silhouette does kill. So they get into that kind of that dynamic.
With the People doesn't have bones. He's like not human.
No, sorry, the Silhouette doesn't have. The Silhouette's not human. The Silhouette is basically like a ghost. The People does. The People is a human.
I just love that because you could title every story like The People versus Dr. Doom, or the People.
Yep.
This is really clever. This is this is really good. I don't know if you ever heard me like doing my rant about like superhero names.
Yeah.
Like I think there's like, I call it my triangle thing. I'm sure Marcus is tired of me talking about this, but like a superhero has to have a good name, and everything falls from the name. So The People. When you told me The People, mm-hmm. I think I was about 65 to 75%, close when I imagined what his whole story was. He was a street level vigilante. He was violent. You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't picture his look. But then again, and then from the name, everything else comes from it. Like, so the costume, he's a street level guy. He's not a millionaire. He throws together when he can. And then his powers, he doesn't have any. He's the People. He's the common man. This is perfect.
Thank you.
Silhouette, it's another one. Like, I didn't picture a guy in a suit and tie. I kind of just pictured almost like a blank with white eyes, but close enough. But he's a ghost, like he has ghost powers. He's mysterious. Your names are perfect. Dr. Octane. I don't know anything about Dr. Octane. I saw one picture, but he's got the tank. He has no powers. He's devices, and he basically throws flamethrowers at people, right?
Yep.
Like, there you go. Your designs are awesome. I'm like really excited about this. This is so cool. And I hope, because I'm getting excited when you just told me 3 characters' names, and I'm getting all excited about these characters. King Loath is a great name too, because it's part of her psyche. It's the part of her that hates herself, and then when that takes control, she loses her powers. Why bother? It's almost like a thing, Mm-hmm. These names are absolutely perfect. And if I may be controversial, this is why, and I'm not trying to start trouble or anything, but this is why I don't like the character Isom, because the name, nothing falls from that name. And I know that's supposed to be his grandfather's name. And I'm not an anti-rip reverse guy. I'm not a pro whatever. I'm just saying, I just think the character's name bothers me so much that I couldn't get more than, I got the first 2 issues, but the name doesn't mean, like I said, the name means nothing. So therefore nothing falls from it. There's nothing. So
well, I really like it's names and character designs and stuff like that. It's a passion for me. Like,
I could tell. Look how excited I got. I didn't read one word of your writing, but I'm excited. Just you told me their names, and I'd like to think that you did a really good just from the names. Did you see how I was able to predict all this stuff because it's a
Sure.
great focus for your character.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and we just came out with these. We have people shirts on the site too. This was actually the cover of the first.
That is awesome.
So my brother designed it. Then another great cover by Dan Dahl and Joe Ball inks on this. But just to have it on the red, so cool. Yeah, and on his bat it says "We the People."
Yeah, that is so cool.
Freaking cool. So those are available on the
Say
website.
hello to my bat court reporter. Yeah. Or jury. The jury's decided you're guilty. Will be like. I don't know if you're familiar. Oh, yeah, I just realized I'm not even in my own. If I don't know if you are familiar with a comic called Brat Pack by Rick Veitch.
No,
but he had it's all about like sidekicks. Why do superheroes need sidekicks?
Oh yeah, okay.
It came out in the 80s, maybe early 90s. But anyway, some person says, "Oh, jury." He had a character called Judge Jury, and you could just see
cool.
what is Judge Jury like. That's all I'm telling you about this. You could predict everything about this character because the name is so perfect.
Yeah.
What does Judge Jury do?
He's the judge, jury. He's basically the judge, jury, and executioner, right? He's a vigilante that decides your fate.
Yeah, and and he has a gavel that he hits people with, and it says guilty. It was just, I love that. So like, good names, which brings to the next question. Yeah. How do I feel about Gambit? I hate Gambit, all because the name doesn't fit the character. What if forget everything you know about Gambit. If I said to you Gambit, Gambit is a long shot. Like Gambit should have the powers of long shot. Like it should be something luck based. But like the only Gambit that is he throws the cards, but he has kinetic energy. It just doesn't fit. So I never liked the character of Gambit. I know. Everybody loves Gambit, but
I love Gambit.
I just can't get past the name. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not.
But here's the thing.
I'm not
with Gambit. I love Gambit because of how cool he is, his personality. I found out who Gambit was before I even knew what the word Gambit meant, and I think
well, there you go.
Because the word is pretty niche and was coming out at a time when the comic was very popular with kids. Kids didn't know what the hell Gambit meant. Gambit was his name, and that's what it was. And he was just this cool
it didn't mean anything. But me, I'm like Gambit. So it has to do with gambling, or and the only gambling connection is but he could throw anything. He could pick up a brick and supercharge it. So like the cards, so it just drove like another. To me, the worst offender of all comic books is Cable.
Yeah.
What is that name? Nothing falls from Cable. Like Cable, and it's not even like his name is Matt Cable, right? So is
Cable from X-Men?
Yeah. What is it? Like
no.
His name is Nathan Summers, right?
Right. Yeah.
So Cable isn't even his real name.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, so what are his powers? Okay, Cable. All right, well, Cable. He's got a cybernetic arm. He's got telekinesis. He's from the future, and he carries. To me, that's like, and it is. That's like a comic book character that a little kid would make up.
Right.
And from what I know, Rob Liefeld made that up as a little kid.
Well, I think a lot of it, like, they didn't know what the character was going to be, and they just gave him that name. And I guess his arm looks like it's made of metal cable sometimes, the way they draw it.
It's like, what's your character's name? Can of soda. What does he do? He's got laser beams. He has dragon wings. It's just like a dog's breakfast character thrown together. Like, I just hate him. And it's fun. Apparently I'm wrong because everybody loves Cable, but I
mean, Cable is a good character. Like,
yeah, this is a John's problem. I totally understand, Dale. This is me. I get it. What kind of character is the Masquerade going to be? Like, well, we already, Phil already told us, but his character is a pulp hero from the 30s, a mystery. Wears the mask, more of a he's more of a mystery Batman detective type of guy. Like, he doesn't fly, he doesn't shoot fire. He owes more probably to the Shadow, but like a more mysterious Shadow.
Yeah, he's a master of disguise, so he could look like anybody he wants.
Right, because excellent. This is perfect. I really like your characters. I always get to back your stuff now. Now I'm like really
Thank you. You know what? I was thinking about this a while ago. Cable, and I've talked to people about this. I think the reason Cable's name is Cable is because it's a mixture of Cain and Abel. He is the son of Jean Grey and Scott Summers, who are Adam and Eve of the X-Men. And I think he is an amalgam of Cain and Abel. Cable has an evil...
bashing himself over the head with a rock.
Well, Cable has an evil twin brother named Strife, which is a clone of him, who is him, but more powerful because he doesn't have the cybernetic techno-organic virus. So he doesn't need to use some of his powers to hold that infection back. So Strife, and then, so there's that dynamic of it. But I think that's what they were going for. Okay, also, I hear that Rob Liefeld is very a man of God. So I think he...
I never heard that. I could see that. I hate Gambit. Totally useless dumb character. Same with Jubilee. And
oh my god!
I'm not. Well, I like Dazzler, but the thing about Dazzler, the name fits. Everything works. Dazzler with these dazzling lights and the disco, like the original costume. I thought like, but Dazzler is a character nobody knew what to do with, and that's just a poor writer thing. I think any bad character could be made cool with a good writer. And perfect example of that is Groot. Let's be realistic. Groot was a bad character, up until I think it was Abnett and Lenning made him into what he is now, a household name. And Jubilee, I never got the hate with Jubilee. I always thought Jubilee was a good sidekick character. Like she was never going to be one who, but the name fits. She does these like fireworks. She's Asian, and they have that Jubilee feast. I thought she was a good character. Not my favorite, but I thought she worked. But Cable is a good porn name. I agree with you there. I hear, yeah, that should be it. He should be a big fat guy with his ass crack sticking out, bending over to install stuff. He literally flows through. Does he? Does he
flows through cables?
Is this somebody pulling my injured neck?
I don't know.
Jean Grey, what does that mean? He's like primetime Cable. He's got access to, yeah. People love Cable. I will say this, though. There are characters that are so well written that they break the rules. I don't know if you know a comic book called Punchline. And Punchline is written by my buddy Bill Williams. He's the letterer for my comic. And the superhero in his comic is called Versima. I don't know what this word means, and he won't tell me. Oh, there you go. There you go. Excellent comic. That costume breaks the rules. Superhero costumes are supposed to be simple and elegant, as few lines as possible. And then her powers have to match her name. Well, I don't know what Versima means, so I can't. Breaks every rule, but it's a freaking awesome character, awesome comic. Have you read it yet?
No, not yet. Actually, the boys gave it to me while I was down in Texas.
Excellent.
I met Bill and Matt. Yeah, they're great guys.
So it just shows you how, if you're talented, you could rise above it. Yeah. Forge. His name has nothing to do with this power. No, I'll disagree. He's a maker. It's kind of. I'll disagree. I get nervous when I disagree with Logic Finest because he rips me apart. I would hate to have him against me. You're getting into a debate that your opponent and the curtain goes up against Logic Finest. I just hit the concede button. Cable had the ability. Did he? If he did, I did this. I'm stealing Canasota. There you go. Just credit me. Actually, don't. I don't want to have anything to do with the character named Canasota. Yes, she was originally Marvel Girl. I guess he's
Jean Grey. Yeah.
If Jean Grey was world ended from the start, it would be a huge spoil. Yeah. Phoenix, again, this is a missed opportunity. If you name a character Phoenix, you get the power to come back from the dead, because that's like if you name your character Hydra, like Hydra Man, you get the power of regeneration. Cut off the head of the Hydra tube or grow back like
right.
That.
Yeah.
So if you name your character Phoenix, that should be so. It drives me nuts that they had the Phoenix Force. It was totally unnecessary. And to me,
she did come back eventually.
Right, but she should have came back because of her own innate mutant abilities. That's why she manifested as the Phoenix, because the Phoenix rises from its own ash. Like it should have been, she comes back from the dead. She's innocent. She has no memory. She slowly regains her memory. All of a sudden, she starts to get guilt. That guilt tilts off the Stark Phoenix, and it's just a you know how the Phoenix rises and bursts.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, there's this DC character that probably is no one's read, but his name's Resurrection Man.
Yeah, I love that comic. That was a great comic.
They did a reboot for New 52. I was picking those up for a while. But yeah, Resurrection Man, he dies and he comes back with a new power every time.
Yeah, Resurrection Man was another one. That was Abbott and Lenning who created that character. The same guys who brought back Groot. And guys, if you see a comic book with Abbott and Lenning on it, just buy it. They wrote a great comic called Hypernauts. It was a 12-issue, kind of like a futuristic Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah,
I think it was by IDW Comics. It was so good. They wrote a lot of Warhammer comics. Rogue, I don't like that Rogue has the powers of Carol Danvers. So now she's known as the super strong flying Supergirl guy who occasionally absorbs. Her main power is absorbing. You know, the Carol Danvers should have wore off, and she should just be the girl who absorbs. That's what makes her unique.
Absorbing.
Now she's a carbon copy with one of her many powers is unique. The Phoenix storyline was 20 years. Yep. Yeah, it was. Jubilee wasn't 70 years old. Laying pipe. People busted my chops. John's electrician superhero name is Cable. Oh, there you go. You know, I do have an electrical villain, and he's not going to get defeated by spraying water on him. Everybody teases me about that. I don't know. I went on a rant about how you can't just defeat an electrical villain by short circuiting them by water. Then there's another punchline. It's called Punchline in the Vaudevillains.
The Vaudevillains.
Xavier should be the bald brainiac. Xavier should be a villain. I think like if you the sum total of all of Xavier's actions in life, I think the meter goes more towards bad guy than good guy. He's one of the most morally questionable characters in the history of comics. I mean, the third issue of the X-Men, he's like, I'm a 40-year-old man, but that 16-year-old chick looks hot, you know. I don't mind Jubilee. She
I never read that one.
X-Men number 2 or 3, he's like, oh, I love Jean Grey, but it's not right. Well, she's only 16 years old and I'm in this wheelchair. He doesn't say because I'm an older professor. He says because he's in the wheelchair, which implies that if he could walk, he would have hit on the underage girl. I don't mind Jubilee. She matures a bit. I don't mind Jubilee. She filled in the Kitty Pryde gap because Kitty Pryde kind of aged out.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, Cable could be not a lot of Cable jokes. He could be stopped if he's put on hold. Yes, Egghead was one of Hank Pym's and Janet Van Dyne's original villains from I'm sure Marcus will remind me. Was it Tales to Astonish or Tales of Suspense?
I prefer the Vincent Price Batman 66 Egghead.
Yep.
Which I have a statue of in my dining room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm a big Vincent Price fan, and I'm a Batman 66 fan. So, yeah, I agree.
Perfect.
Only if cremated. A forge is when metal is melted down and reshaped, nothing to do with his power. It's very long stretch, the same as the name implies, but people like it. I see where you're going to, but it still works better than Gambit or Cable.
Cable.
Another great book by Annette Bening. Erection Man is completely different. Yes. That comic is really hard to get a hold of. I think we need a link. Yes, we do. Bring us back. Mark us to ground us again. Get us back to Psycho Slumber, Lost Pages, and Killjoy. I learned the hard way not to back something live because then people see my information.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
So after I will be back in, but I'm excited. You got me like my blood was pumping because you got it.
Thanks,
I don't know if it's something that you consciously thought about, but like the superhero name is the focus for the superhero. You know,
yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I want characters that I'll get excited about. You know, like that's what this is all about. Like, I'm a fan of comics because they are so unique and they inspire me to want to come up with stories and create for that reason of hopefully I'll inspire someone else down the line to then carry on the craft. You know, I'm a big Swamp Thing fan. I love Alan Moore's Swamp Thing.
Oh, me too. That's one of the best comics.
That supernatural element, Etrick and the Demon, you know, I think Alan Moore is the first one that made him rhyme constantly. And I love that. And that's why I put that into the Masquerade, because I love that challenge and the rhythm of how that character speaks. So all like the stuff that I put in my books, if you're a comic fan, you'll be able to pick out, oh, he probably got this because he's into this stuff. So
yeah. excuse me. Yeah. Marcus says, yeah, the Mackin on younger girls. I know. Back in 1963, you had Reed Richards with his student, and you had all of these May, what do they call it? May December romances. It was a different time. But whatever. Yes, Tales to Astonish. And yes, we didn't know Rogue before she had Miss Marvel's power, but we saw that she also absorbed Thor and Captain America's power in the same issue and lost them all. She should have went back to just the absorber.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to wind this down because at 8:30 I have a comic book team up with RJ and World at War Comics. So, is there anything that I didn't bring up that you'd like to bring up? Anything that I glossed over? Again, I love your superhero names. Like I try not to get jealous of people because jealousy is a negative thing. Like I always say, like, you didn't take anything from me, but like I never would have thought of the people.
Yeah,
that's just so good. That is such a good name.
Thanks, man. Yeah, those are available on our site still. Right now we have for Psycho Slumber, the Rob Willis cover is the standard cover. We're gonna have a variant soon, so hopefully in the next few weeks we're gonna add that. So be on the lookout for that and spread the word about it. Getting this into more eyes, line of sight really helps. So we can make this, a great story and upgrade the book and all that great stuff.
I'm sure I'm not the only one who has this question. If I do that all in pledge and I get everything on that tier.
Yeah.
And then you have your own site. If I go to your site, what am I missing?
So collect
all of your stuff.
So the all-in tier is going to get you all the Lost Pages stories, but not the people, because that's a side mini series. So you'll be able to have to grab that on the site. Also, the all-in tier has the first 2 stories in this one book, which is black and white grayscale. So if you want the colored versions at the larger size, which would be like this, and this one has an awesome foil cover with the villain. This is in Lost Pages 2, the villain's name's El Dorado, and he's this badass kind of Aztec gold thief.
Again, that's a great name because that's always been one of my pet peeves. Because El Dorado means the golden one. It's a reference to a person. So when they say the city of El Dorado, they are talking about the city of this man, the golden one.
Yeah.
So
and we dive into that. So his backstory is he's a thief. He is obsessed with gold. He steals this golden amulet from the city of Museka, and fighting the silhouette, he accidentally blows his face off, and it plates his face gold, half of it. So that's what he looks like.
Awesome. This is a great character design. Perfect.
So this is this story is in this book, which is available on the campaign. But if you want most of it is in black and white, but it has spot gold color. So you could see there's El Dorado there. And his car, and he shoots the lasers out of his amulet, and that's gold spot color. So we still have some of these left on the campaign page, or not the campaign, sorry, on the site with the foil. You can get that on the website, or everything is in this small book in black and white.
Again, you make up such good designs. The People versus John Q. Public. I want to let people know this now, that I have a vigilante character called John Q. Public. He wears the plastic. It's actually my friend Mike's character from our role-playing game who makes a debut in his comic. So he's already done. He's already public. We can't change it. It already happened.
Awesome.
I'm like getting defensive now. All my good names are disappearing. Between you and Dave Brink, I have no more characters left.
Oh, Dave's another guy with awesome
names, awesome designs. So there you go. Oh, Mike wants to know, do you set up booths at cons?
Yes, we have in the past. We do the ones around Chicago, so C2E2. We want to do Fan Expo next year, and this past year we were at Heroes Con. I tabled with Joe Catapano. We were right next to Simon Bisley, so it was awesome to see him again. And he was picked up some of my books. So we really want to do Heroes Con next year and have like an actual table with all of our stuff, and looking to go do more and more cons for sure. Yo,
Hey,
what's up,
Don's
Don?
here. How you doing, Don? Good to see you. Watching you muted. Oh, I guess he wants to see our handsome faces. Me, he's making fun of, but you got those dreamy sideburns. You wanted to stop and say hello. I am feeling better, Don. Thank you. I hope you're feeling better too. You know, having a broken neck, you can't help but get a little like under the weather. You know, you just get like stir crazy. But I'm doing good. Things are picking up. Thank you for asking, Don. It's really nice of you. The Dungeoneers, the stupidest thing in the world.
That's right. So Simon in my Psycho Slumber book, he's a Dungeoneer. So yeah, there you go. Go support Simon.
Harrenberg, how you doing, Harrenberg? It's great to see Phil at Heroes Con and Joe Capilano too. Yep.
Yeah, awesome to see you.
Marcus invited me to stay at his place for Heroes Con. I just
yeah, it's where I met Marcus as well. Yeah, it was awesome.
And now it's, I mean, if I had a crystal ball, because I didn't go because I wanted to save the time off for fulfillment for my comic.
Yeah.
But now I broke my neck, and you know what I mean. I wasted all my time off. I'll probably get it. So I should have went, is what I'm saying. You never know.
Yeah.
I should have went. Okay, but maybe next year. I assume everybody with Cyber is a werewolf. That's a pretty good assumption.
It's a good assumption. Yeah.
I just got to say, it's not a full moon tonight. That's why we scheduled it tonight.
Perfect.
But I really got to go. I'm gonna prepare for a couple of minutes because I have a comic book team up with RJ for the Fourth Age and World at War Comics right here. Don't go anywhere. Don, you could take the mute off and I'd watch and listen. But thanks a lot, man. I'm really excited about your stuff. You know, you won me over.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. And thank you everybody in the chat. Go tell your friends about it.
Yeah. I thought it was hard, which I do like. But now that it's superheroes, and then again, you got it. As far as my rules, I could be wrong, but as far as my rules go, you got it. So thanks a lot. I'll see everybody. I'll see you in 5 minutes right here.